When I first saw that body in the bathroom mirror, he was smiling, and the next moment, he was gone. But the bathtub was still dripping with water, as if someone had just taken a shower. My name is Mark Harper, and I bought this house in the suburbs of Los Angeles last month. An old, beautiful, but deserted house that looked like the set of a horror movie, but I bought it as a cheap opportunity. The neighbors were confused when they saw me moving in. One old woman even said, "This house swallowed the previous owner. Son, don't go." I laughed and replied, "I believe in truth, not ghosts." But Johnny, I was wrong. Very wrong. When I stepped into the house, it was strangely cool, as if someone had turned on the AC, but the electricity hadn't been turned on yet. The floor of the house was creaking, old frames on the walls. One particular painting kept catching my eye. The one who was looking straight at me had a deep, empty desolation in his eyes. I had a bunch of keys in my hand, but the door to the main bedroom was already open. Maybe the old owner had forgotten to lock it. I consoled myself. I opened my eyes at around 2:47 a.m. The room was completely silent, but from somewhere I could hear a faint whistling sound. It sounded like someone singing an old song. Very faint, very lifeless. I got up, grabbed a flashlight, and headed toward the sound. The sound led me down to the basement. I opened the basement door and disappeared down the stairs into the darkness. And then I saw a shadow standing at the bottom of the stairs, motionless, looking at me. I screamed and closed the door, and sat there all night with the light on. As soon as the morning dawned, I dismissed my fear as an illusion. It's a new environment. I haven't slept well. My mind is playing games, I thought. But when I went to the bathroom, "I never left" was written on the mirror with steam, as if someone had written with their finger after a hot bath. A chill ran down my spine. I decided to find out about the previous owner of the house. I didn't find much on the internet except for a news report. Harold Green, age 67, mysteriously disappeared in his own house. The police never recovered the body, but the death was confirmed. The address of the same house, that is the previous owner of the house I am living in, is still missing. The next night, I caught a glimpse of him in the bathroom mirror. White hair, dark circles, and the same old coat. He was standing in the mirror, looking at me, and slowly smiling. I immediately turned around and saw no one. But the mirror was written again. "You don't own this place." "I am." One day, I opened an old wooden cupboard in the basement. Inside was a diary with blood-stained spots. The first page of the diary read, "If you are reading this, you too are now a prisoner. This house does not live only on what you see. It eats you up." Harold Green. I closed the diary, and for a moment it felt as if someone was breathing through the wall. I decided to leave the house. But when I opened the door and wanted to leave, there was only fog outside the main gate. The road, the neighborhood, everything disappeared, as if the entire neighborhood had disappeared. The phone signal was off. The doors closed automatically, and a voice came from the basement. "If you can't go, it's better to accept that this is not your home anymore." The door was closed. I wanted to get out, but every way seemed to be blocked by some unseen force. The windows, the doors, even the small exhaust had turned to stone. Silence had fallen all around me, but this silence was not the kind that brings peace, but rather the silence that comes before a storm. And then suddenly, a sound came from the basement, as if someone was walking barefoot on wooden stairs. I froze. I held my breath, but the sound grew louder, and slowly the basement door opened on its own. I plucked up the courage, picked up the flashlight, and went down. The basement was colder than usual, like being near a dead person. As soon as I got down, there was a chair, freshly dusted, and a camera set in front of the chair, as if someone had recorded their last words. I turned on the camera. The old VHS tape played. The same person appeared on the screen, Harold Green, exhaustion on his face, fear in his eyes, and the same basement in the background. If anyone is watching this video, please listen to me. This house is alive. It sees you, it feels you, and once you adopt it, it will never let you go. I made the same mistake. I bought the same house, the same walls, the same cabinets. But after a few weeks, I started to feel like someone was following me all the time. First in dreams, then in reality. I wanted to escape, but the doors were closed. And one day, I just disappeared. The video suddenly stopped, and behind the camera was a piece of paper. Only the one who can give the house its secret back can survive. What is the secret? I asked myself. What is it that can break the prison of this house? I reread the diary. Hidden in the middle of it was an old envelope on which was written, "There is a box, made of wood, hidden in the bathroom wall. The soul of the house is imprisoned in it. I immediately ran upstairs, went to the bathroom, and began to look carefully at the tiles. Finally, I felt a slight crack in one place with my finger. I slammed my hand and opened it forcefully, and a small wooden box came out from behind. When I opened the box, there was an old ring, a picture of a child, and a letter covered in blood. The letter read, "I lost my son in this house. He disappeared before me. I hid these things here so that he would not return. But maybe that was not enough. If you took this out, now he is alive again." At that moment, the lights began to flicker. The same shadow in the mirror was Harold's soul, but now his eyes were filled with anger instead of pain. The appearance of the soul. "Why did you open the box?" A resonant voice rang out. No lips moved, but the words were hitting the walls. "You broke the promise. You broke my imprisonment. Now you will be what I am." Blood started flowing from the walls. Words began to form on the floor. "Never leave." I stepped back, but the door to the room was closed. The soul appeared in front of me, a transparent body, no tears from the eyes, only black smoke. I tried to close the box again, but the ring clung to my hand. As soon as I put the lid on the box, the soul screamed loudly. The whole room started to shake. The walls of the bathroom started to crumble, and I fell to the ground unconscious. When I opened my eyes, I was lying on the floor. Everything seemed as before, as if nothing had happened. But as soon as I went down and opened the door, the outside world had returned. Cars, people, birds, everything was normal. I was surprised. Was it all a dream? But as soon as I started to leave the house, the same shadow was looking at me in the window of an old car parked outside, and he was slowly smiling. I had walked out the door. Everything seemed normal. The sun, the road, the sounds. But there was a void inside me, as if I had come out, but some part of me was still inside. I walked towards my car, but as soon as I opened the door, there was something on the seat, the same wooden box. But I had locked it at home. How could I do this? I immediately threw it in the middle of the road and started the car and drove towards the city. I stayed in a hotel, trying to calm my mind. But as soon as night fell, everything started to get strange again. The lights in the room turned off automatically. The bathroom mirror was dimmed and a message was written. "You can't go. You're one of us now." I screamed and backed away, and only then did the TV turn on automatically. The same video of Harold Green was playing on it, but this time he was addressing me. "Mark, you don't understand. I want to save you. I am imprisoned, but you can be free now if you return what was part of the house." I decided to drop everything and go to the city library, maybe find some records, some information. There, I found this in an old file. In 1972, a child named Danny Green suddenly disappeared from the house. His father, Harold Green, became mentally paralyzed and said, "The house swallowed my son." A few days later, Harold also disappeared. The house was locked up, and everyone who came to that house either went crazy or disappeared. Now everything was clear. The ring and the picture in the box belonged to Harold's son. The spirit of the house was the child who never returned, and Harold was trying to free himself from the spirit's captivity, but he couldn't. Now he wanted me to take the box back home so that his son could be free. But could I set foot in that house again? Fear, whispers, and the desire for life were all echoing in my mind. But I knew, if I didn't do anything, this shadow would never leave me. I got in the car and set off again towards that fateful house. Every lamp on the way went out as if the universe didn't want me to go back. The door opened as if it was waiting for me to return. Everything inside was silent. No sound, no shadow. I took out the box and headed towards the basement. The stairs seemed to light up by themselves. I went down, and the same chair, the same camera, but now there was something else. A small door that had never been there before. On the door was written, "Enter and return what was taken." I opened the box, took out the picture, and as soon as the picture came in front of the door opened automatically. It was dark inside, but as soon as I threw the picture in, I heard a child's laughter. Papa, then silence. Then a light and the ink on the basement walls began to clear. The mirror cleared, and for the first time, my face felt normal. I stepped outside the house, and now the same old neighbor was standing. "You did what no one else could do. You reunited the son with the father." I sat in the car and looked at the house one last time. Harold Green was standing out the window, but now he was smiling. And then he slowly disappeared, as if his soul had now been set free. I was saved, Johnny. But one thing is still with me. That ring that has automatically come to my finger. And when I fall asleep at night, sometimes there is a light knock on the door. Tired. If you like horror stories, then our channel be sure to subscribe. Thank you.